Hey, welcome back to the Zero Excuses Podcast, everyone. My name is Kenyon Zitska. Thank you for tuning in. This is the final part of my four-part series where I'm going over some key habits and routines and systems so that you can set up your 2018 to be your best year ever. And today, what I'm going to be going over are morning and evening routines. Now, how many of us wake up every day, hit the snooze button several times, roll out of bed with just enough time to get dressed, maybe have some breakfast, and then run out the door and squeak into work just barely on time? I know I was one of those people, and once I adopted a morning and evening routine, I felt in so much more control of my day, even if everything that happened in between the morning and the evening time was chaotic. It just gave me a much greater sense of control over how my day played out and transpired, and it allowed me to set the tone for the day. And in the evening, it allowed me to download everything that happened and process it, and not go to bed frustrated or angry or whatever emotion you know found its way into my head during the course of the day. It's just two doses of positivity that allow me to just have a more positive outlook on life. So I would encourage you, even if you have to trade off a little bit of sleep at the end of the day or even in the morning, I would encourage you to adopt these two key habits. They're game changers, and the return on investment is well worth it. I mean, just from the fact that I've been able to not go to sleep angry has allowed me to sleep much sounder at night. So that little bit of time you're going to lose it, you're going to more than make up for. These are also the times that I use to plan out and review my plans for the day, and they give me a peace of mind about what's going to transpire during the day, because it gives me that certainty of action that I know I'm going to take. And I mentioned it in the previous episode about daily and weekly planning. These are the two times that I use to make that happen, at least for me. The other positive benefit that I found from having a morning and evening routine, it keeps me from drifting into possibly negative activities, such as reading what might have transpired on social media overnight, or getting into a negative email that I might have got through my work email. I purposely don't check email or social media until I have that planned out in my day, and I'm not perfect at it. Something I'm continually working on. It's a very tempting thing to do, to get into your phone, get into your social media, and see what transpired overnight. But this routine, I specifically omitted checking email to eliminate that negative or possibility of negative thoughts creeping into my mind first thing in the morning or the last thing that I read at night. It allows me to simply focus for the day, and like I mentioned, gives me that certainty of action. And I know I don't need to worry about what I need to do, because I know I have it planned out. I've reviewed it several times, and it's not going to be perfect or bulletproof, but I know I have a plan, and all I need to do is execute. But I do want to briefly go through my morning and evening routines here. There's many sources that I've used to kind of formulate these routines, but I'd have to say the number one resource that I've used is Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning. This book is an awesome resource, and you definitely should check it out when you're crafting your own morning routine and evening routine. I'm also going to include here in the show notes a very simple worksheet, like I've done with the past three solo shows here. Just a simple, I call it a battle rhythm tracker. I call it my morning and evening battle rhythms, and it's just a very simple worksheet that you can download, fill it out. I actually have mine printed out and laminated, and I have it hanging next to my wife's dry erase monthly calendar. And every morning I go through it and check it off, make sure I'm hitting all the points that I need to hit, and then I'll have it available in Excel, and it will allow you to score yourself each and every week. Anyways, so Like I mentioned, Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, he goes through what he calls the savers. It's silence, affirmations, exercise, reading, and scribing, and all five of those, six of those aspects I've built into my morning routine, among a couple other things. But the silence, affirmation, and visualization, I have that built into my meditation practice, where I simply just breathe for 2 minutes, then I repeat for 2 minutes a predetermined doctrine. It's simply a very short saying that will help me through the particular situations that I know I'm going to encounter during the day. Maybe I have a physical activity and I may repeat in my head, I'm fast enough, I'm strong enough, and I can accomplish anything. Something to that effect. It varies from day to day for me, depending on what I'm going to be getting into for that particular day. And the last part of that is visualization. The first part of this series, I went over my vision, and again, whatever I'm going to be finding myself in, whatever situations I'm going to be finding myself in that particular day, I pick out a piece of my vision and I just visualize it, and I burn that image into my head, because that's going to be the last thing that I do during my meditation practice, and it's going to be just there for the rest of the day, and it's going to be there when I find myself in difficult situations, or I may lose my motivation perhaps during the day, and I just draw that image forward, and that keeps me going, keeps me moving during the day. And then the last three parts of the Savers method is exercise, reading, and scribing. Every single morning at 6 o'clock, I hit CrossFit at my local military base. So I do that after I complete my morning routine, but I always do that first thing in the morning. I get my PT in for the day. But reading and scribing, I read for a minimum of 10 minutes every morning, and starting this next quarter, I'm going to be having a goal of writing 250 words per day. It may turn into a book. It may just simply be a personal journal, but whatever this turns out to be, 250 words per day, it's going to be close to 100,000 words by the end of the year. The other part of the scribing is I'm going to be tackling the Daily Stoic Journal. My lovely wife got me that as part of my Christmas presents this year, so that's another part of my scribing. And also, and the last critical piece to my morning routine is, I call it my pre-mission briefing. It's just I go back over the plan that I made the evening before of what I have planned for the day, just so that if there's something I perhaps missed the evening before, I can add that in, or if I didn't miss anything, it's just another review of what I need to get done for the day. And getting into my evening routine, it's very, very much the same. Couple things that I like to do in my evening routine is I like to do a real quick stretch, mobility exercise. I also do what I call a hot wash up for the day. It's a very simple process where I ask some very simple questions about how my day went. I've seen some more complicated versions of this, and I've seen some even simpler versions of this. I feel like these few questions here kind of strike a happy medium here, but some of those questions include: what did I do well today? What didn't I do well today? What was the biggest obstacle that I overcame today, and what did I learn from it? And the last question is, how will I ensure that the lessons that I learned today will stay with me over the long haul? Because I think this question here is very important, at least for me, because I tend to learn lessons and then kind of they fade away off into the background, and I tend to forget about them over the long term. So I've found that this question will help me come up with techniques and methods for me to instill those lessons over the long haul. And then also in the evening, I fill out my quarterly tracker and my routine tracker that I've included in these past episodes. Then I also have I didn't mention this in my morning routine, but I have a set of what I call doctrines. These are just affirmations that I have come up with for different situations, and I have one that I read before I go to bed. I have one before I hit the gym. I have one that I read at the end of my workday before I enter the home after my long days, sometimes long days at work, so that I get my mind right. But these are just, and I'll go over these in detail in another upcoming episode, but all these are just things that I read that I want to prime in my brain before each and every situation that I find myself in most days. And then in the evening time, obviously, I plan out my day. And, all of these things that I've gone over these past 4 solo casts kind of play into each other. So, all right, guys, that's it on morning and evening routines. Hope you guys have found these episodes useful. I know that these systems that I've gone over these past 4 solo episodes will make a big difference in your 2018. And if you're looking to get the support and the accountability that you need to follow through on instilling these habits and routines, I encourage you to check out some of the resources that we have available. The first is our free closed Facebook group over at facebook.com/groups/0excuses. We've got 425 people who are having some amazing conversations around building discipline, starting to adopt these habits that I've gone over these past couple episodes, and it's free. I mean, there's zero excuse for you to not join in. The second resource we have is our Infinite Results Mastermind group, where you'll find some even deeper accountability and a community of like-minded men who are doing the work necessary to absolutely crush 2018. You can check that out at kenyandziska.com/results. And the last resource that I have for you is my one-on-one discipline coaching program. This is only for those who are looking to absolutely invest the amount of time, the energy, and the resources necessary to taking their lives to the next level. You can check that out at kenyandziska.com/discipline. And the last thing I want to say before I sign off here for the day is don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts at. We've got some outstanding reviews, and I appreciate everyone who's taken the time to leave me a review and rating on iTunes. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great New Year's celebration, and I will see you in 2018.